So what I'm doing here is I'm helping my nephew out with his headlight on his BMW. He did a swap for. One of the lenses that you can see there, how it's facing down, isn't straight, and it's supposed to tilt down and up. And I'll just show you the final product here of the repair. So that's what it's supposed to do, but I didn't have the time to video record everything, so this clip is all stills except for the bit of footage at the end. So I'll try and explain through it, but it's basically trying to get the idea of what I did with all the photos I've taken, and if you have this problem, you might be able to repair it yourself. For the sake of a $600 headlight, you know, I took the challenge on repairing it and was successful. Okay, so first of all, I had to get the headlight out, so I just let these slides go through, and you can get the idea of where you're going to find all the screws and bolts. Yeah, I apologize I didn't get video footage of this. It's just I didn't have enough time. I had to come up with an idea and have it solved before I had to leave in an hour and a half. So I just thought I'll just take photos as I go, bit of footage at the end, and hopefully this will help someone out. So just getting the bumper bar on the front right off to start off with. Didn't worry about the left hand side undoing it, so left the wheel and everything on the left hand side. I just needed to undo the right hand side so I could bring the bumper bar forward enough to get to the headlight, because there's one bolt that you can't reach with the bumper bar on. If that one bolt didn't exist, you could probably take the light out with the bumper bar still on, but unfortunately it's hard to reach if the bumper bar's in place, so the bumper bar has to come off, and then we'll get the light out. And also don't forget to disconnect the lines for the front water squirters. I did, and I broke it, but he didn't care, because, you know, who uses that anyway, right? So what you're looking at here is just the back of the light with the covers off. And if you ask me, there's far too much technology in these headlights. Instead of just a couple of globes, you've got motors and stuff. And you can understand why now it's so expensive. Anyway, you can see like what I've got highlighted there. It's just where the covers came off. And this highlight is where the Parker lights are, and that will come off in a minute. Right now all I'm doing is disconnecting any connections and removing the lights, including the Parker lights. The control board here that you can see I'm taking off didn't have to come off. I never pulled one of those lights apart before, so I didn't know what was involved. So I was just taking everything off it, so I didn't have anything in my way while trying to repair it. Just have a good look before you pull things apart so you can see how they go back together and not damage anything. This motor here that tilts the lens up and down, or down and up, can tilt and slide out. You just got to study it, pay close attention to how it happens, because there's a certain angle that you get it on, and it can come off and go on quite easy. But if you're just trying to force it, it's stuck in there. If you get replacement lenses like Oldmate did on this car, so these lights that I repaired didn't stay in the car for long and decided to upgrade them, we had to take that motor out and put it into the aftermarket lenses. And in the aftermarket lenses, they pop in and out instead of sliding in and out. Now looking on the inside of the other side, where my finger is, you can see where the little round clip goes into place there. So it just needs to slide out of there. And the reason why the lights weren't tilting anymore is because the part where I've got it highlighted right now had unclipped from the front end accident. And it wasn't a hard accident, obviously, but it was enough to make that part pop out. So the little motor wasn't tilting the light anymore, and the front plastic part of the lens had broke off. So to get that plastic broken part back on, I just used a couple of soft tappets and a little bit of wire on the other side to hold it in place, and that did the job fine. But I did find that I couldn't put it all together on externally and then install it into the light. I had to come up with an idea that I could put it all into the light and then put it all together once it was all assembled, like kind of like building a ship inside a bottle was the idea, and it worked out. So what you're looking at this part here is that I've got it all assembled, and I've got the black mounting part in position back into the lens. So if I pull on those two wires on both sides, it pulls everything in the front of the light back into place. And I had to make my own guide holes so I didn't interrupt with the screw holes that pre-exist for the mountings of the lights to go back in. And this is just another image of the same thing but zoomed out a little bit. And just a little trick here so you don't drop any screws into the lens and have to try and shake it back out. I just put a little bit of tape around the Allen key and the screw so it holds them both together, as you put them in, and you won't have any dramas there of having to try and fish the screw back out. And just showing you here with the little motor, I've got it on a lean there. I'll need to put my hand in to bring the black mount up so I can slide that motor into the black mount. But that's pretty much the angle you have to have it on so they slide in together. At this point here, you can see everything has worked out exactly as I had hoped it to. So it's just reassembling and putting the lights back in now. And that's the finished product. Everything looks great. You can't tell that it's been repaired. Unless you have a close inspection, you can see where the soft tappets are and the wire is on both sides that pulls it all back together. But you have to go right up to the lens to be able to see that. And that's it, we're all done. The light looks fantastic. It works, looks and functions how it should. You wouldn't know any different unless you're changing a light bulb. I hope this helps somebody out. You don't really need to put the plastic part on the front with the wires like I did. You could take it all apart, remove that silver ring away from there altogether, and then put it all back together and clip everything back into where it should, and the light would work fine. Old mate wanted that silver ring on the front so it looked the part, so I made the effort to actually fix it and have that there. But like I said, if you find that the light's not tilting and that silver part there is dangling loose, pull the light apart, take that silver ring out and put all the light back together, and it will work and function how it should. It'll just look different. And you know, who knows, it might even look better without that silver ring there. But we didn't do that, we didn't try that. Anyway, that's a full DIY. I made it up as I went with what materials I had around me. Right, well, I appreciate you being here and watching this, and hope somebody learnt something from it that helps them, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.